Well, hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. I'm Adam. Thanks for hanging out with me again today. And over the weekend, the Dirt Master showed up. So I've had this on pre-order as soon as I saw it come up for sale in the US, and it's finally here. There's been a million unboxings and build videos and everything. I'm not going to get into all that. You know, I'm sure everybody that watches my channel has probably seen 357 videos of this already. But I am going to get it built. We are going to paint it non-box art. You know, I like the red. It's kind of a, you know, an homage to like the Tomahawk type styling in a sense. But yeah, we're just going to go kind of left field with this one. To me it paints, and we're probably still going to use the factory decal sheet. But we'll see how it goes. I may just completely go off the reservation and, you know, go nuts with it. But more than likely, it's going to be like a two-tone paint with the factory decals. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get it out on the bench. We'll get it spread out. I'll do a quick overview of it, and I'm going to get to building it. And then once I have it done, I'll come back and share my thoughts of the build. Again, there's a bunch of videos out on that as well, so I'm going to try to make it short and sweet. See you in a minute. Well, alright guys, so as you saw from the pictures, it's built. Well, the chassis is built. Still have a clear wing, still have a clear body. Did not get a chance to get to that today. Been working on this kind of on and off all day as, you know, felt like doing it and time allowed. Real quick, I'm just going to kind of go over some of the things that I really like and some of the things that I question. You know, a lot of the stuff has been covered. There's a boatload of shims in this, and I get it. They're making it for race class, so you can move things around and adjust and, you know, push this forwards, push this back, raise this up, whatever. That was fine. As far as the instruction goes, I think everybody's covered that too. You know, not having numbered parts trees is a pain, mostly because of all those stupid shims. Do yourself a favor, go on Amazon, go to Harbor Freight, go to somewhere cheap, buy you a digital caliper, and just ignore flipping back and forth in the instructions. You know, the parts themselves are pretty easy to identify what part is which on the parts trees. It's just those shims, you know, different thicknesses, 0.5 millimeter, 1 millimeter, 1.5, 2, you know, you're like, well, which one is this? This goes a whole lot faster than flipping back and forth in the book. Plus, it helps with the turnbuckles and everything, getting those right. Now, I did like that the turnbuckles are 1-to-1 in the instructions, so that was very helpful, you know, if you don't have calipers. But getting calipers, you can get it dialed in pretty close to the suggested settings in there, and that helped a lot. The plastics in this are really nice. Now, caveat to that, if you don't wear glasses, be very careful snipping off a lot of those little pieces. My floor is covered with about 60 different little tiny plastic nubs that are extras on the parts. So like the shock caps had multiple bits around them. All the little suspension balls, the pivot balls for the shocks and everything, all those had little extra bits. And as you're snipping those off, depending on what plastics they were, on the shock stuff, it wasn't too bad. Those weren't the really hard plastic. Those are much softer plastic. But if you're snipping nubs off of the, you know, shock towers or any of the chassis parts or the suspension arms or anything like that, you know, clip away from you. Don't do it in the house. Your wife is going to get mad when she walks across the carpet and steps on one of those sharp little chunks of plastic. Don't do it around small pets or children. You may knock one out. Like I said, those things go flying. If you guys have ever sent an E-clip across the room, that's nothing compared to one of those little plastic bits off of that hard plastic. It just rockets. You know, I was hitting the ceiling and boxes, and I could hear it tinging off cars in the background. It was pretty funny. So in the kind of once over view of everything, I showed I was putting in a brushless system in here. Yeah, we're not. The motor fit fine. The ESC is a big bulky thing, and it did not want to sit in between the side of the chassis and everything, and it's a bit tall, so I was worried about it hitting. So we're just going to stick this in something else. You know, I bought it just to try it. I didn't buy it specifically for this, but so we ditched that. We went with a 1060 Hobby wing, and I have a Holmes Hobby Retro Sport 17 turn in here. So this one should be pretty peppy with a 17 turn motor in it. The Hobby Wing 1060 is kind of like Frank's Red Hot, you know, that crap will go on anything. So we just stuck a new 1060 in here. I just had to switch double-sided tape down just because it's kind of on the wrong side of the ESC, the way it's laid out. You know, I could have moved things around, but it works. You know, it's tucked in there nice and neat and low, so I don't have to worry about clearance issues. I did put the little aerial in, you know, just because, why not? It's the little stubby aerial. I won't mind that sticking out of the body. Put a little short, low profile servo in here. Not really specifically doesn't need a low profile. A regular servo fits fine. I just stuck one in here because I had it, and it's a little bit faster than my regulars. One thing I do absolutely love about this kit, this thing is just murdered out. You know, other than my electronics and the wheels, everything in here is black. Black screws, black washers. I mean, the only aluminum part is part of the servo saver assembly and the silver hinge pins. Everything else is black. And, you know, as I'm building it, I'm noticing that, you know, I don't have any of that obnoxious bright silver hardware or bright silver washers sticking out anywhere. Everything in here is just stealthy and black, and I absolutely love it. You know, I'm almost tempted to get black wheels for it and, you know, just go full on. Shocks went together really well. Probably the cleanest shocks I've built in a long time. I didn't have oil all over the place. You know, they're super simple. Basically just bleed them, get the oil level up to the very tippy top of the shock, screw the cap on, push the plunger all the way in, and if any oil comes out, just clean that up, put the bleed screw in, and you're done. You know, you should be able to pull it out and it stay out. You should be able to push it in and it should stay in. Those work great. I used 35 weight oil. I just had a random tube of 35 weight sitting here. The only other stuff I had was the Tamiya, and I didn't want to run that, and I had some 20 weight in here, which was a little bit thinner. They say 450 to 500 CST, which is like 37.5 to 40 weight. So I was like, 35, it's going to be a little bit on the low end, but I think it works great. You know, it has just enough dampening to slow it down, but not keep it really slow, so it doesn't have a real slow rebound or anything. And, you know, great. Tires, love the tires. Super nice and soft. The foams are really nice. You do have to drill the wheels. I did not know that. I hadn't seen anybody else mention that I remember. Probably somebody did, but you do have to drill out the wheels. If not, you're going to have big, squishy, hard, balloony tires, or possibly a flat tire, depending on how you glue them up. So drill out the wheels. I just took an 1/8 inch drill bit, one side and the other. The backs actually have two little dimples in there for where to drill them out. So super simple. But yeah, overall, I enjoyed the build a lot. The transmission is super simple, but very nice and precision feeling. I probably made the diff a little thick. you know, they give you this little pot of white grease. I'm not sure what type of grease it is, but I kind of globbed a bunch in there and then set the gear on top and screwed it all together, and it's kind of fairly packed. So that may be a little stiff. Hopefully it'll wear in a little bit, but I do need to get leads soldered onto the motor. Don't have time to do that this evening. So one other thing I did not care for, even though they are, you know, blacked out with the rest of the theme, why, Kyosho, did you put plastic nuts on the shocks? You know, granted, that's a traditional Kyosho thing to do, but it's 2023. You know, there's black nylock nuts in the chassis part when you're putting that together. You could have just given me 4 more to put the shocks on, and I would have had nice black nylon metal nuts up here instead of plastic nuts. They work, but they are getting replaced. You know, it's a pet peeve of mine. I don't like plastic hardware at all. I don't. So those will get replaced. So one real nice thing with it is there is no steering play in this at all. You know, the steering is very tight. The only play in it is just the play in the front end, the bearings and stuff. You know, there's a little bit of freeness in there, but otherwise, you know, zero play in that steering at all. And you can adjust the toe end in the rear and the front, I believe, with the different, well, the toe end in the rear is with the caster blocks. They give you different, they give you different toe blocks for the rear if you want to change it. I think you can make it straight or toe it in. And the front, I think that had a 2.5 and a 3.5 something another kick in the arms. 2.5 I think is stock. That's what I built it as. And then we just built the arms up, the turnbuckles and the steering and the rear turnbuckles and everything to the stock measurements, so everything should be pretty neutral. You know, I'm not a race car driver, so it should be plenty fine, and we can adjust it if we want to later on. You know, we have everything staggered to the right side, so, you know, one way is loosening, one way is tightening all the way around the car, so everything is set the same. So overall, great build. It was fairly easy to follow, even though the parts trees aren't labeled. Like I said, everything is fairly recognizable in there. And like I said, just get a set of calipers and just measure those shims. They're all about the same. I think they're all 7mm diameter. It's just the different thicknesses. And then there's some shims for underneath things, and those you just have to measure those as well. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys liked kind of a look at it. You know, it's not a full in-depth build or anything. Sorry about that. But hopefully you guys enjoyed kind of seeing the photo montage of it coming together. Sorry I didn't get a kind of a wrap-up photo of the electronics going in. But like I said, we got derailed with the brushless, so I kind of forgot to take a picture. Anyway, guys, everybody out there, you guys be happy, be healthy, be safe. And I will catch you on the next one with a, you know, finished body, hopefully. Take care, guys.